I'm Allie Craig, and I'm traveling across the country to fix the heartbeat of the modern economy, the entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are like no other business. It isn't just about selling a product or a service, it's about selling the experience, the relationship, and speaking to the social stories that hold the hearts and subconscious minds of our audiences. And it's these fledgling brands that must be designed as much for their audiences as it is for their authors if they're going to break the statistics and make bank. Having fixed countless brands over the last 20 years and worked with hundreds more entrepreneurs, founders, and startups, I know that I need to do something radical to get these brands and their founders back on track. Because in this age of social media where everyone is a critic as well as an instant expert, your business and audience can boom or backfire overnight. If I have any hope of saving these brands and transforming their businesses, I have to get these entrepreneurs to embrace the experience they are really selling and escape the mindset that all they are is just an offer. Hey everybody, this is Fix My Brand with Allie Craig. I am Allie Craig, that is the amazing Gina Bell, and today, besides the fact that we're catching up with Gina and exactly where she and her brand have gone for the last year, yes, almost an entire year has passed since the launch of her Moonroot Spirit brand, what we're really talking about is how to truly be a profitable and successful creator entrepreneur. Not creative, creator, because in my world, there's a big distinction between being creative and creator. Being a creator means that you are actually birthing something from your own heart, your own knowledge, and not just taking pretty pieces that someone else made for you and just making something out of it. And Moonroot Spirit is definitely a creator style brand.
Yes.
So thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
And she literally does mean that, which is really great. She literally does mean that, which I totally appreciate because ironically, that is not necessarily the case for all brands, but hey, I appreciate that you always say yes.
You are welcome.
Smart chica, because you have transformed so much in the last 365 days.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, honestly, less than 365 days. And I'm so stoked to show everyone where you've been because they get to see the transformation in lightning speed. So this is what Gina's brand looked like just at the birth of her new vision. Right now, Gina's existing brand is really about helping women tap into their creativity. So we're going to be building a whole brand platform based off of creativity, which is a great lifestyle brand. Because Gina is creative herself, she's going to get bored if we try to put her into a multi-platform brand where we're just talking about creativity all the time.
Women are born with vibrant, creative, amazing color. We just forget what that feels like. Over the years, I have worked with a lot of women, and we're all different in really unique and cool ways. I know for me, I got lost in a space of sort of chaos and stress. When I can even take a moment of my own life to center, it just opens up a new world. And I want others to feel that feeling, that magic.
Oh, your original brand. It was so sweet. It's my nice way of saying it.
It was sweet and confused. Yes.
But your spirit was always there. And I honestly think that's one reason why that I wanted to say yes to you on the show. And I don't know if you know this, guys, but Gina actually said no originally to the offer to be on the show.
I did. And I think about that all the time, how different things would be if I had said no and not yes.
So I actually went back to her second round because I just seriously, though her brand was completely confused.
Yes.
I loved the sparkle that was in your eye and in your heart. And though you had no idea what to say, you were like, I'm a creative life coach, something. Oh, I had no idea what the hell she was talking about with the black bark and all the rest of that. But your energy and your heart for it, I'm like, okay, we can find clarity, but I can't make heart. And so I went back to you a second time and you almost said no again.
It's true. It's true. I did almost say no twice, but something felt really right. So it ended up changing my life.
Forever.
Forever. Forever. I can't believe it's only been a year. It's like 10 years worth of work or something, it feels like has.
And you look 10 years younger.
Oh, thanks.
You really do. I mean, it's kind of funny because I was talking with Ginny P about that from season 1. that when you really get in touch with what your brand's about, you actually physically begin to look younger. Even though you're actually doing more work, you may technically be sleeping less and all the rest of those kind of elements, you actually look more youthful, more energetic, and therefore more attractive.
And I don't think I still think things are going to come up. Maybe even more things when you're birthing your brand will come up. But when you have that kind of happiness where you feel connected to what you're bringing out into the world, it does somehow glow. I do totally agree with you.
It's better than pregnancy. Never having a child, but mom of 6. So
no swollen feet here, I promise.
And no extra weight either. So.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a win-win. So let's really see when we were starting to birth Moonroot Spirit. Before we even birthed Moonroot Spirit, we kind of ran into a little snafu along the way. Check it out. With Gina's new brand, we were going out with Creative Living with Gina Bell, because that's exactly what she does. She helps people live creative lives, however that looks like for them. Well, that was all until about 2 weeks before her brand was to launch. Gina finally took me up on my advice of going to talk to a trademark lawyer, because let's be honest, in today's age, you have to make sure that you can use the terms safely and smartly for many reasons. One, you don't want to invest all this time and energy into a name that someone else already has trademark on, and you will get a cease and desist letter. Two, you don't want to use a name and not go after trademark when applicable, because someone else will go get the trademark on it and send you a cease and desist letter. This stuff happens. There's actually companies out there that all they do is search for entrepreneurs who are relatively successful and go trademark the names these entrepreneurs have not trademarked themselves. Gina was smart about this, and 2 weeks before launch, we got the call that we weren't going to be able to get the trademark for Creative Living with Gina Bell. So could you believe we almost went out with Creative Living with Gina Bell?
I cannot believe how much things actually aligned perfectly for what was in my heart. And I don't think either one of us even knew that would happen.
Well, because originally Creative Living with Gina Bell it's very practical. And we wanted something on a practical level, because though you deal with creativity and lifestyle, you're not uber woo. And especially coming from, I live in Arizona and having that whole, I like to call California entrepreneurial circuit, there can get a little too crazy woo of crystals and pendulums and all this otherness. And that is not your energy or what you're actually doing. So, I appreciated the practicality of what Creative Living with Gina Bell was. But I most appreciate that when we got the call from Jamie Lieberman that it was not going to go through, your trademark would not have gone through, that instead of freaking out, right, you and I just jumped on a Zoom call and we said, okay. And within less than 90 minutes, we had Moonroot Spirit, we had the URLs, and we had already contacted Jamie and we're like, get on that trademark, please, and thank you.
Right, and it happened in such an organic way that was in total alignment with, like you said, what the heck's, oh, shit! Oh no!
It's okay. I curse a lot. I'm sorry, I'm rubbing off on you, but it's really okay.
Oh my goodness, it aligned with everything. Like, the pieces started coming together, I think.
Well, with Moonroot Spirit, what ended up coming was your black bark tree, which has always been for you the core of how this brand and this vision was birthed, from this idea, this dream, and then the painting that you did. It actually then began to make sense. And then literally, this is how I create, guys. I was literally we were doing a Zoom call, and I'm like, Gina, and this is, now she knows this. I'll say, this makes no logical sense, but here's what I see. And what I said was, I'm like, I see we're in a forest and we have all these different styles of trees. So it's not like there's different species all around, and the sunset's coming and it's getting dark. And then all of a sudden when it's pure dark, these women are stepping out of their trees and into their beauty and their creativity, and they're bringing all this light and joy with them. Oh, yes. And it's almost like at dawn, they go back and they hide into who they think they're supposed to be and become. And we were like,
that's true. It was a moment just like that where the complete clarity.
So though it could have been a total trademark F up, a total oh my goodness, we already had websites and logos and all this stuff built.
Right.
it actually ended up being the best mistake, which never really is, to birth so much more. And wait till you see Regina's heading in his head. Like, wait till you hear it, but that's to come. So it's the perfect mistake, basically.
I totally agree with that.
Well, and along that line, it's something that is deeply personal for you because it was birthed from your vision, your dream. Therefore, everything else has to be a personal expression of you. Let's see that personal expression in action. We knew that this whole ball gown, skirt, tutu thing was going to be at sunset. We wanted that timing. Originally, I was thinking a very iconic pose of her in profile with grass and lots of space around it. But while we were looking for that perfect space, we found something way better than I ever could have imagined. This abandoned overpass bridge in Florida with the Florida palm trees and Spanish moss, with distance, with framing of the concrete sides. It was perfect. And more importantly, it was almost at true west. So perfect for the sunset.
As a stylist, it's really not about my style. It's more about bringing out the essence of the person. And with Gina, she's so vibrant and animated, and the colors. So we wanted to do that in a way that was fashionable and stylish and authentic to who she is. And she rocked it.
After doing photography and photo shoot work for over 20 years for hundreds of brands, Gina's was truly an absolutely magical experience. And it was so awe-inspiring because Gina owned it. In that moment, you can tell that she completely embodied where she was going with her new brand. It was truly awe-inspiring.
I don't think I realized when I was very small that other kids didn't grow up the same way that I did. I had a very creative mom, Saturday Night Live skits in the garage, in the backyard, mystery parties and belly dancers and backyard circuses. It was just like very, very special, but I didn't know that as a child. Running down that overpass, like her energy was with me 100%. It almost felt like something I haven't experienced in my life. You know what I mean? Like just this energy and adrenaline and like this color coming from the inside. Yeah, my mom was definitely there. I have no doubt. It was almost like she was in the wind.
Okay, I still look at that scene from Orlando and the bridge, and even though it's not what I originally had envisioned, it's so much better. And I remember driving around in Orlando with our main amazing, fabulous editor, and we're looking for this place to shoot, and we just look off and we're like, that overpass abandoned bridge is it.
Yes, and it's amazing because I was, just before we came on now, I was talking to you about how there's the way you see things and you tell me what those things are, and then to see them actually come to life, in real time, was so cool, because here's the abandoned overpass, and I'm like, oh, an abandoned overpass, what's going on here? And then we get out there, and I'm running on it, and it was just
and the idea. So the skirt, your tutu ball gown rainbow skirt, as I like to call it, that was my personal branding gift to you. So you didn't really know a lot about it. It was a total surprise to her. So you literally didn't see it till I think the day of.
It was the day of, yeah.
And God bless the designer out of Miami who rushed it, because my original designer who I had hired for it completely failed and bombed on that one. And this amazing designer, Cash Young, out of Miami, I called her up. I actually Etsy'd her at midnight. I'm like, I need this skirt in 2 days. I'll pay whatever you have to pay. And her boyfriend, I think now husband, actually drove it up to the house because we were already in photo shoot and production shoot. And so you had no idea. You were just so trusting And it so comes through in those photos of just pure, honest, raw emotion in all the good ways.
Oh, I agree. It was something I've never experienced in my whole life, so.
I don't think any of us experienced. I mean, I love our guy shooters, like God bless them, they're fabulous, but here we are. Norma Lopez is there, photographer, crying. We had Marcella there, who's our makeup artist, crying. We had Sandy there crying. We had Stacy there crying. We had me there crying. Because it was just seriously a spiritual moment, because you were completely owning everything that you were stepping into.
And possibly, no, for the first time in my life, everything felt completely aligned and I wasn't scared. So that is hard to do, to have a moment like that. So, I mean, the adrenaline was going and I was like, what's happening? And there were all these emotions, but I didn't feel afraid of where I was going. Like, it felt right. And so, I know I've said this a million times, but I felt like my mom was there, you know? She was in the wind that day, and it was just
Your mom
magic.
shows up in the wind to move these tulle skirts that you wear all the time, and your mom shows up in Orlando for some reason, which is really interesting. I mean, there really are different cities that people's energy jives with. Orlando is not mine, but Orlando is where our photographer's from, and so it saves us one more travel fee. And you are an Orlando energy vibe, for sure.
I agree, totally agree.
And because you were willing to overcome your fear chihuahuas, like, as you like to say, fear chihuahuas,
Yes.
you were actually able to truly own that shoot and really be able to fully take advantage of all the photography and video services we were offering. But let's have Miss Gina tell you about those fear chihuahuas. Check this out.
This is a story all about how my light got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the princess of my own self-care. Chicago Heights, born and raised. On Parnell Avenue is where I spent most of my days. Till a couple of fears that were up to no good. They started making trouble in this neighborhood. I worried they could be right and my spirit got scared, but my